All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Trevor Luby. I'm the partner manager at MSI Data. For today's webinar, we have our technology partner, Sinch MessageMedia, who's going to show us how SMS can be used within NetSuite to help your field service teams and better reach your customers. So, Connor, I'll pass it over to you to dive into Sinch MessageMedia.
Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for hopping on today and attending. I hope you enjoy this session. My name is Connor Brooks. I'm the partner manager here at Sinch MessageMedia. I'm joined by my colleague, Alex Rhodes, and he's going to be answering questions in the chat. So as we go along today, I've got a short presentation that I'm going to give, and then I have a demo that I'm going to play. And so if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. We will do our best to answer them as we go. And then if nothing else, we've set aside a little bit of time at the end for some Q&A. So we will get those questions answered for you. All right, to kick things off, I will share my screen here. Okay, so my name is Connor Brooks. As mentioned, I am with Sinch MessageMedia, and we offer an integration into various CRMs and ERPs that allows for SMS and MMS messaging inside those platforms. Today the focus is NetSuite, but we do offer this inside HubSpot, Salesforce, Zoho, Shopify, you name it, we almost integrate into it. So, with that being said, I will move right along. This slide in front of you, I've got a QR code on the screen. If you're curious, scan that QR code or simply text MSI to 31853. We've actually got a workflow set up that will automatically reply to you, so you can kind of get an idea of how our integration works. So I'll give everybody just a second. I know we got a few folks on here. I'm sure you're curious. Scan that, see what happens. But why are we here today? I'm sure most of you have business operations that you're conducting and you're communicating with your customers just fine. Maybe you're using email, maybe you're using snail mail, phone call. I'm not sure. But why would you use SMS? What's the point, right? Well, I think the stats speak for themselves. 70% of customers actually check SMS messages within 5 minutes of receiving them. And almost 80% of those that check those messages reply within 5 minutes. And I think another important stat on the screen is that 55% of your customers want to be able to text back with questions about orders or customer support, or maybe appointment confirmation and information. So, the bottom line is that getting information into the hands of your customers quickly and providing a quick pathway for communication is important. This isn't to say that you should only be doing SMS. I think that there are various communication methods, but I think that having SMS in your arsenal and part of your plan is important. But how would you use it, right? I think this is the tip of the iceberg in terms of ways that it can be used. Maybe you want to update a customer along every point in the order process. So you've got an order, you want to receive it, you've approved it, maybe you've picked it, packed it, shipped it, and then delivered. Maybe you've had trouble getting customers to pay invoices in a prompt manner. So you want to set up text reminders that'll automatically go out when ages of invoice are getting longer, right? So maybe you have some invoices that are unpaid as they go on for days or maybe a week. You automatically send payment reminders. Or maybe you have no idea if your customers are satisfied with your service or the installation that they had on a product that you sell. And so getting a feedback survey in their hands right when that job is completed may change that. Am I frozen? There we go. These are some examples of what our NetSuite customers have been saying. John McClellan, the manager of information systems at Roth Living, who are conveniently also a ServicePro user, they said it was a no-brainer. We worked with ServicePro and Roth Living to create a customized solution where their field technicians were actually communicating with back office teams via SMS to keep deliveries and installations on track. and they can even send forms and checklists via SMS while in the field. So I think that solution allows customer communication in real time. And then they can also confirm appointments, and it'll automate the surveys to their clients. And this is where Roth is actually seeing a huge increase in their satisfaction rate, or at least just their feedback rate from their customers. It's getting those feedback surveys in their hands quickly. Appliance Parts Company is another business that we work with, and their employees were actually answering customer inquiries about order deliveries and creating custom saved searches in NetSuite for every call. And so they needed a more efficient way to let customers know that orders were ready for pickup. So we worked with them and their team to automate SMS to let clients know based on record updates in NetSuite when items were checked into the facility. And then the volume of the inbound phone calls that customer support team was getting dramatically decreased. And their customers were a little bit happier because of it, as well as, I think they're streamlining processes and they're saving time on the back end. So kind of a double whammy. But who are we? Why Sinch MessageMedia? That's a great question. We integrate with so many different platforms. And while, my role at Sinch MessageMedia, I only play with Salesforce and HubSpot, Zoho, and NetSuite. I think it's really cool that amongst all of our integrations across these different ecosystems and products that we have almost 5-star rating. Our relationship with Sinch, who is a global telecommunications company, means that we have direct ties with the mobile carriers. So our message throughput rate is extremely high. We have very reliable delivery rates. And we also offer very high level security. And we enable the sending of 4 billion messages in the US annually. And we have a customer support model that I like to say is follow the sun, right? It's 24/7. So any customer of Sinch MessageMedia, you have a dedicated onboarding representative that walks you through your paperwork verification, your phone number selection, the opt-ins for your customers, the proper texting language. And you actually retain that same dedicated account manager for the entire life cycle of a customer at MessageMedia, meaning if you have any issues, you get to speak to a real person in real time, and it's a familiar face. How do we work together with ServicePro? That's why we're all here today. I know that many of you here likely base a lot of your operations and managing your field teams out of ServicePro, and it's because it's such a powerful tool. And I also know that everyone's business is different. You have different industries, different processes, different customer bases. The beauty of how we worked with ServicePro is that we can meet you at your SMS needs where you need it. And so any data that syncs into NetSuite and maybe triggers a status change on any object or any record from ServicePro, you can now configure NetSuite to send an automated SMS with important information, either to your field technicians, to your customers, to different team members in your organization. So, essentially, we just want to help supercharge the way you communicate out of NetSuite. With that being said, I know that I've talked a lot about it, and so seeing is believing, and I want to show you. So right here, I am going to pause this. And I'm going to play this demo. Normally, I would do this live. My computer is a little bit on the fritz lately, and I was worried about being a webinar host and running NetSuite at the same time. I'm sure you guys that use NetSuite understand where I'm coming from. So I've got this recorded demo here that I'm going to play. Put myself on mute. Stand by. Good afternoon, everybody. Connor Brooks with Sinch MessageMedia here. I know I've talked a little bit about how our integration can be used inside NetSuite and some of the benefits to utilizing SMS for your business, but seeing is believing. So I just wanted to give you a little glimpse into what our integration looks like inside NetSuite. Starting off here, you'll notice I have my iPhone mirrored to my screen so we can see some of those texts come in that I will demonstrate here in just a moment. That's on our left side. On our right side, we have our NetSuite. And I wanted to start off just by saying, we are a Suite app. We've been on the marketplace for over 12 years. And so simply going to the Suite app marketplace and searching for MessageMedia would allow you to find our integration. So I will do that real quickly. MessageMedia, SMS for NetSuite by Sinch MessageMedia. Here's our listing. Installing the paperwork and verification of your selected phone number, and some of those features and configuration to make sure you're sending properly can be done as quickly as 72 hours in some cases, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer, just depending. So that is how to get started. When we look at our integration and how it's utilized, we have a couple different ways of sending. Now we have conversational messaging, so one-to-one. We have bulk or batch SMS, where you're sending big blasts of messages to multiple recipients at once. And then we have SMS that are triggered automatically based on workflows. Something to note, we installed our application. Let's say you just got this installed. You now have a new module up top on your home bar here in NetSuite, and it says MessageMedia SMS. So when you click on that overview, it takes you to our dashboard. This layout is customizable. You can personalize it as you see fit for your use case and what data you'd like to display. You can change date ranges. You can input different filters to change this data. I just have our general inbound and outbound dashboards, as well as a combined view to look at all the texts that are coming in and out. And so that is just kind of a nice way to keep tabs on how your integration is being used. Let's jump into it. So when we look at our one-to-one messaging, right? So we're going to talk about just messaging back and forth with your customer. I'm on a customer record. I'll choose myself, my own bike shop here. I'm an avid mountain biker. You now have a button called Conversations. So I'm going to click on that button. It's going to bring up a UI. And this UI pop-up looks similar to an iPhone or maybe an Android, but it's very, very intuitive to use. So a couple of different things I want to point out. You can look at what number to send to. Let's say we have different numbers on file for a customer. Maybe we have landlines, mobile phones. You can now choose what number you want to send to. You could insert a header or a footer. So let's say you are going to just freehand a message. I could say Connor's shop, and that'll put in a header, and I could put thanks as my footer. I can update that, and then I will have a header and footer in my message, and we can preview that right here. So I'm going to remove these because I'm going to show you some other features that we have. So I will remove those. You can access templates. So let's say you did not want to freehand a message. You weren't sure exactly what you wanted to say, but maybe Connor forgot to buy something. He had something in his cart. I have thousands of templates that we've created and saved, and you can do the same. So I will go to this template, abandoned cart template. You'll notice it pulls in the text. It's got some possible merge fields, which I can add as well. So any of the fields on a record, I can merge into the text body on this message. Additionally, I could schedule this. Let's say I don't want to send it right now, but I want to make sure I send this to myself at 8 p.m. tonight. I could select the date today, and I could select the time tonight and have it send later. Lastly, as you can see from some previous texts here, I am an Arkansas Razorbacks fan to my own peril. So I could go to Files and see all that I've sent in terms of pictures. Any sort of JPEG file can be sent here, or I could actually attach one. So I will go right now. I will attach this file. I will insert this. I'm going to say Go Hogs. And I'm going to send that. And we're going to see that pop up on my phone. So we see that I've sent it. And we should see it come through momentarily. And when it does, I'm going to reply to it. So here it is, Go Hogs. I'm going to say, yep, Go Razorbacks. Send that off my phone. And you will see that come through on this UI. So this is conversational messaging. You can go back and forth with your customers. This could be used for customer support. This could be used for sales outreach, answering simple inquiries and questions about orders or appointments, things like that. So that's our conversational messaging piece. Moving on, we have our bulk messaging or batch messaging. And what this is sending a message to a large number of recipients, and those recipients are determined based on saved searches. So I have picked customers in California, and I have selected all these customers. You could select certain ones to include or not to include. I've created a header and a footer. We can see that previewed here on the right. And I have chosen to freehand a message, once again, about the Arkansas Razorbacks. This time, a more sad message about not making the March Madness tournament this year. So I have picked my message. I could track the delivery, which we have reporting on. I could schedule it to go out again. But one thing to note about the batch SMS, which is pretty cool, I could make this a recurring message. So I could say on a repeated basis, I want this message to send at any given date or time at this interval, as well as, in NetSuite, your saved searches can be updated at specified intervals as well. So, as I'm adding or removing customers in my database that are from California, this saved search will update and pull those customers or add those customers as it changes. One question that we often get that I think is appropriate to address now is, what happens if a customer does reply stop to opt out? We have pre-configured workflows out of the box that will actually go and, using a workflow, check this box on a customer record, opt out SMS, so that they'll be removed from those future messages. So just kind of a nice handy feature there. And then the last way that we send messages is through workflows. So like I mentioned, any current workflow that you have that is sending out communication via email, maybe it's item fulfillment, maybe it's sales order, maybe it's shipping confirmation, we can now configure those workflows to trigger an SMS to be sent with that same information. So it gets customers information in their hands quicker. A lot of times you'll get replies quicker, and it's just a convenient way to streamline some of these processes that you currently use. I'm not going to delve too far into workflows because those are typically unique depending on what business you're in or your industry and kind of how you operate. But just know that we offer a set number of pre-configured workflows out of the box, but that you can trigger an SMS to be sent from any record inside NetSuite. So the possibilities are literally endless. And there's ways that we also work with ServicePro and some of the data syncing that they do from their application into NetSuite to trigger specific notifications. So some really cool stuff happening there. Just wanted to bring this up and show you guys, I mentioned some of the templates and some of the thousands of templates you can have. You literally can. This is just kind of an idea of your template library, so to speak. So I've got all my templates here. You can edit them, you can view them, you can delete them, pull them up, make changes, pull in different merge fields, so on and so forth. So putting in work on the front end here saves you a lot of time on the back end whenever you're sending some of these texts. It's a really useful tool. Lastly, just for kind of a visual representation of where our functionality lives inside NetSuite, I wanted to show you kind of what you should expect when you're looking at different records inside NetSuite and what can be sent from where. So we saw the conversations button. That's primarily available on relationship records, similar with sending JPEGs and batch SMS. When we look at templates and workflows, the possibilities are really endless. Those are available on almost any record inside NetSuite. So a lot of ways that NetSuite can be harnessed, and a lot of ways that you can use SMS inside NetSuite depending on what you do. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Okay. We are back. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you for paying attention. That was our demo portion of the webinar. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. If you have any questions, you can text them. If you're interested in exploring how you can use ServicePro and also use SMS in your CRM or your ERP, definitely reach out to us. Trevor and I are happy to facilitate that conversation and help out and see if we, can meet your business needs. I know we're a little bit on the early side, so happy to stick around if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, Trevor, I will pass it over to you and let you wrap us up.
Awesome. Thanks, Connor. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, like Connor said, feel free to scan the QR code here. I'll also be